Well, you can see today here, this is day 3 of the fermentation, and you can see how fast that little guy's bubbling away there. So this is in full fermentation now. And if you look at the color, it hasn't changed really that significantly. It has gotten a little tiny bit lighter, but not a lot. But it has gotten a little bit cloudier. And it will stay like that now until the fermentation is complete. So the next step we're going to do is we are going to measure the specific gravity of both the red and the white. And I will show you the red right now, what it's doing. And you can see how that bag has floated right up to the top, and you can see how it's quite actively bubbling down in there. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to punch that bag down in there again today, and I've been doing it 2 to 3 times a day to keep that those skins contacted with juice so they don't dry out. Okay, that's it for now, and the next step, we're going to do the specific gravity of both of them. Okay, here we are. We are on day 3 of the fermentation. Today is May the 17th, and we are going to measure the specific gravity today. So the first thing we got to do is we have to take the bung out of here. So we just sort of wiggle that a little bit back and forth. It pops right out. Set that off to the side. Now we're going to take our wine thief. All of this equipment has already been pre-cleaned prior to this demo. So that is what you have to do. Every time you do any measurements, you have to clean your equipment just before you use it. So you can see this is even wet. So you're going to insert it into here, down into there slowly, and then you put your thumb over the top to hold it. You bring it up and then put your other finger over the end so you don't drip wine or must everywhere, and put it into the hydrometer cylinder. That's not enough, so we're going to do one more. And pull it up, stop it from dripping, release the thumb, and there we go. So I'm going to put this in the sink. Everything is going to have to be washed prior to our doing the red wine. So we put the hydrometer in there now, and we check our specific gravity. So our specific gravity right now is 1.086. And I'll just turn this so you can see it on the video. And it's actually 1.088. Okay. So we take this out of here now, we put that and rinse this off. We're going to pour the must back into the carboy. There we go. We put the bubbler back in. And look, it's bubbling away already. Okay, so that's the white wine done. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video for a second here, and then we're going to clean all the equipment, and then we're going to do the red wine. Okay, so we've just finished cleaning the equipment right now. Now we're going to do the red wine, or the red wine kit. So follow me over here, and I'm going to pull the lid off that, and you can see how high that the bag has floated up to the top now. That's all full of air. So we need to push that back down into the must right now. What we're doing is we're just sort of squeezing it lightly against the side, and that's pushing some of the must that's inside there that's had a lot of contact with those skins, and we're going to let some new must go in there to make contact with the skins again. So we've pretty much done everything that we need to do. Just turn that around. Okay, so now we are ready to take our hydrometer reading with this one. Again, we use our hydrometer and go down into the
wine thief.
The wine thief, go down into the must, Bring it up and put some into the hydrometer cylinder. Need a little bit more. That should be lots. Okay, now we are going to check our specific gravity here. And our specific gravity is at 1.100.
Just leave it.
Okay, so now you're wondering probably, when we first started this kit, our specific gravity was at 1.094, and now it's at 1.100, which is 0.6 higher, when we're expecting this to have actually gone lower. Well, what's happened there is all that sugar that were in those skins that we put into that cheesecloth bag has now migrated out into our must. So that is actually, that additional sugar that was in there is actually migrated into the must, and that's actually raised our specific gravity up. So this is the last time that we're going to see it go up, and from now on we should start seeing it go down, because any sugars that were in those skins is already fully immersed into that must now, and it is fermenting rapidly. It's got a good solid fermentation happening in there. So what we're going to see now is, from now on, every time we do the measurement, our specific gravity is going to keep dropping. So we're going to pour the remainder of this must back into the pail. We're going to put our lid back on, and not sealing it too tight. We're just going to seal it all the way through. We're going to leave this area sort of open to allow any of those gases to escape, because if we seal that right up, that thing's going to pop up and it's going to actually pop that lid right off our pail, because it's a fairly tight fitting lid. So don't seal it right down tight. If your lid has a bubbler on it, then you can put a bubbler on there, of course, but this one doesn't have it, and we're just going to leave it open slightly. People are going to say, well, isn't that going to add a little bit of oxygen in there? But it's not, because the carbon dioxide that's created from that fermentation is heavier than air, and it's going to set down on top of that wine or that must, and it's going to displace any oxygen that might be in there. So we're pretty much done this for today. I want you to make sure that you record those measurements in your logbook or in your log sheet. And all your equipment needs to get washed prior to putting it away again, so it's ready for the next time. And it gets washed when you finish with it, and it gets washed when you take it out again, just to remove any bacteria from it. We don't want any cross-contamination between our two wines. We have two different yeasts happening in there. So that's another good reason why you want to make sure that you rinse everything in between your two measurements. So that's all for now, and we will see you again tomorrow when we do another measurement.